Welcome everybody to a new session today with Gal from engie, the CMO and founder.
Welcome to the engie offices.
Tell us about what's your name, your full name. Tell me how you got here. Tell me what's your background.
Right. So my name is Gal Aharon. I'm 27 years old, and we actually started engie from personal pain of going to the mechanic after I had an awful experience when my car broke down, and I just felt helpless and frustrated, not knowing what the problem was, what I should do. I was just on the side of the road, clueless. And then when I went to the mechanic, it just became worse because I had a malfunction. I had no idea what it was. But what I did understand that it's going to cost me $800 to fix it, just like that. And with no information, understanding, I just told the mechanic, you know what, just fix it, just make it work, I'll pay. And then when I went out from there, I was so angry because half of the mechanic had all the information and I was just helpless.
Yeah. So what's the solution you gave to the users?
So we understood that in this auto repair industry that there's no transparency at all, and that we had to bring a solution that would bring both transparency and a connection between the drivers and the mechanics to talk with one another. And that's how we got to engie, which is actually the mechanic in the palm of your hands.
Yep. And
engie is actually the first marketplace between mechanics and drivers, and we're connected to the car using a smartphone app and a Bluetooth device that connects to every car since 2002. And then once it's connected, we get all the information about the car, if you have a malfunction, exactly what the malfunction is, and then you get real-time quotes from mechanics nearby. So before you go to the mechanic, you already know exactly what's your problem and how much it's going to cost you to fix it.
Okay, cool. So tell me a little bit, I want to hear a little bit personal about you.
Right.
Tell me a little bit about your story. Besides the startup, I saw you did the Zell program at IDC.
Right.
So I'm also an IDC graduate, so that's why I'm interested.
Right.
So tell me a little bit, how did you, you told us how you came up with the idea, but a little bit maybe about the personal struggles of starting your own company.
Many struggles.
Many struggles, or also, it could be interesting, from the moment you had the idea till it actually had the first time the product in your hand. Tell us a little bit.
We started during the Zell program, which I think is one of the best tech programs in Israel. And you get into the program after half a year of tests and kind of interviews. And then once you get there, you need to choose your team in a week and just, decide who you're going to work with for the next year or 5. And I think the most important to me was to find people or a team that I can work with and I'll be friends with, but also to have, the same goal of building a big and valuable company.
Yeah.
And so it was, for me, something that I think is really important is to both set your goals straight with your partners, but the most important thing is to be friends with them first. Because startups, it's kind of like a roller coaster, and there are, days that you're way up high and days that you're way down low, and then you need someone to pick you up and, move forward, and you can only do that if you have a really strong team that, puts the company first with no ego and nothing, no bad feelings or anything, but the only thing that matters is to get the company forward. So I think that's really important for people to know how to choose their teammates at first, right?
Good. So how was it when you this feeling when you decided on a certain product and then first time you had this product in your hand?
Right. So it's kind of a whole process. The first thing was to understand if it's a problem that I had, as Gal or as a woman, or is it a big problem that can help millions of people. And so the first thing was to see if there's the pain is really big as we thought, and so we did a lot of research and market research to see what's out there already. And then the next one was to build the first prototype and get users to test it and feel it. So we had kind of testing groups. Oh, really? That's cool. Yeah, so we went.
It's in my car. My car is connected to it.
Cool.
Yes.
So it was steps. One step after another to build the first prototype and then get feedback. And I think that's really important for a startup to always be connected to the users, get the feedback, and then implement them in the product, because you're not building a product for yourself, you're building a product for your users.
For sure.
Right. So that was kind of the first prototype. It was friends, family, and then we got into the big forums and blogs of car enthusiasts because there's a huge car community in Israel, actually in the whole world. And then it was kind of the big launch of the product. So it's very exciting, the whole process.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm a big car lover. I love all the nice fancy cars. I'm originally from Switzerland, so there are a lot of fancy cars in here. So whenever you see, like, I don't know, like a Porsche, then I get all excited. But again, like, I would like to talk a little bit about innovation in the car industry. I think it's compared to other industries, a very slow-moving industry, and definitely like a very capital-intensive industry. So how do you compete with, I don't know, like big car companies that also try to connect the cars to the mobile phone, or how do you see the future of the car industry?
So first of all, I think that it was important for us to understand that we're not relying on the car manufacturers or looking for partnerships in order to succeed. That's not the way we're going, because they have such a slow kind of movement. And our understanding is that we're going to the customers and to the drivers, and that's kind of our users, and we're going to connect to their cars and help them without kind of being reliable on the car manufacturers. And I think that the people that we're bringing the most value is actually people that don't have new cars, which is really good for us.
Yes. Because
people that have cars after warranty, they're the ones that will go to the mechanic, have more malfunctions, will be more price sensitive. So at that point, it's really good for us that we're going through the users. So I think that's very interesting to see that there are a lot of innovation in this very conservative market that was kind of closed up until a few years, and now you can see that there's vehicle-to-vehicle innovation, and there's vehicle-to-infrastructure innovation, and smart cities, and cybersecurity. Yeah. I think that Israel actually has brought many innovations in this industry in the past few years, which is very exciting to see. That Israel is not just technology focused, and there are a lot of other solutions that are B2C and kind of going into this industry.
So maybe I would like to hear a little bit of your opinion about the future of the car industry. I mean, we've heard many things. What do you think about autonomous driving?
So I think it'll get there. I mean, for sure, I don't see us driving, for the next, 20 or 50 years. It doesn't make sense. And especially if, there's so much innovation in this world, it's just going to be faster. So I think it'll take more time than they're saying, but it's definitely going to get there. Mm-hmm. And I think it'll just make the world a better place. There's no need for each and every one of us to drive a car. It just doesn't make sense. Yeah. But until then, there are solutions like Uber that are kind of making a smart, autonomous car in a way, because you don't have your own car. The autonomous car is, a person that's actually driving, but the idea of not each and every one of us having a car to drive in is kind of the same idea that's going there. So there'll be solutions until the autonomous car, but it'll get there.
Yeah, I mean, but the thing is that it's more of an issue, I think, with autonomous cars, the ethical dilemmas that they had. I'm sure you heard about, who to kill, driver, who is more important, the whole hacking idea that, you want to drive to work, but it drives you to, I don't know, to a different place.
So I think people like to be scared and kind of stressed, but I think that at the end, if you look at the big picture, then you'll have less car accidents because, people are, less fast-minded as machines at the end of the day, and you'll have less car accidents and less people killed, I think, on the roads anyway. So I think people like to have kind of these ethical questions, which are good and very meaningful, but at the end of the day, I think less people will be hurt when they have, what's happening right now.
Okay, good. So thank you very much for this interview.
Thank you.
And I hope you enjoyed the video.
Thank you very much.
Bye.